Well, it's the final leg of our conversation here on The Morning Brief. I would just get to have some sort of soft conversation, music, precisely. Well, he's a performer, songwriter, composer, and he calls himself Dwin the Stoic.
Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Kenzie.
I'd like to start with that name.
Yes.
You know, you artists have a way of being very creative. So
yes.
Tell us I mean, by the way, you have just confirmed that you are Nigerian.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am Nigerian.
Okay.
I'm Nigerian.
Nigerian, precisely. Enugu State,
yes.
the cold city.
Yes, cold city state.
All right, I'm not going to tell you.
What connection you have with Enugu?
Right. No, but I have this thing for Enugu people.
Yeah.
That's because my wife is Enugu.
Lovely.
So you're my in-law.
Yes.
But let's talk about you and your name.
Yes.
Walk us through the
So Dwin is from my middle name, Edwin.
Okay.
And then the Stoic, I think I had run into the word when listening to an album sometime in university, and I liked just what it suggested. Someone who kind of moved through life, you know, with a sort of, how do I put this now, a certain look on life where it's like good or bad, you move through. But looking more into the philosophy of Stoicism, I learned that it's more about focusing on what you can control, right? Yeah. And although people think of Stoicism as just being on feeling, I think it's more about knowing that you can do life and be able to do things in moderation. Make sure you are controlling what concerns you, basically. And so with Stoicism and my name, I'm pretty much creating music for people to feel things, but not for them to dwell. Right, it's like you feel happy, you feel sad, you feel in love, you feel jealousy. All of those things are contained in the music I make, so that's why.
Yeah. Yes. And you don't do everyday music, because in this part of the world and continents, we like the boom, 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 boom. Let's go there.
Yes,
it's Friday, and and Saturdays and all. But
yes.
That's not the genre of music you do.
I think I do several, but yes, I like to do a fusion because I think with the company I started and with the music I make, I want to make the soundtrack of our lives. Right, and so that means I want to make music for all the moments you have. So there are some songs that you can hear in a club. I've done a few songs with DJs and producers who understand that sound. I love music in general. I've always listened to all sorts of music. Growing up, it was going from the Beatles to Oriental Brothers to the artists I knew at the time, like Asha and Two-Face and Style Plus. These are the things. So I am essentially an amalgamation of all that now. So I'm able to do songs. For my recent album now, called Master of Ballads, you have a song like I Go Nowhere, which fits in the Afropop genre, but then there's Time Is Money. That's more high life. But then there is a song like Shake that's just a piano ballad. Yes, so as an Igbo man, I tap into it.
So that explains it now. Even your brand, your hair, your style, it's difficult to box you into a corner. Certainly not necessarily Afro soul, but more like, soul, pop. Exactly. How do you describe your sound?
So I would say most of what I do with genres, I treat them like suggestions, right? But when I talk about the music I make, I'd say it's a fusion of a lot of genres, but I'll say a lot of them, the key thing is about how I write the songs, and that's why the album is called Master of Ballads, because it's more about the songwriting style. I write songs where without the music, you can look at the lyrics and still follow a story.
Okay.
And so I would say for me, genres are really just dependent on the song. So when I go into the studio with my longtime collaborator, Rafi, we just know we're going to make a good song. We don't know what is going to come out of it, but we know it's a good song.
And so you've gotten sync placements on Netflix, Disney. Tell us about that.
Yes, so I started a company called St. Clair Records to house my music and also the music of other artists who I think are doing multi-genre music that is important. And one thing I definitely wanted us to be able to do is earn from this music. And you described the mainstream and breaking into that with the Nigerian space, it can be interesting. But one thing we did even as we were growing was pitch ourselves, because the music we make is universal. We make music that can work in several places, and so we're lucky to get into a Netflix production called Far From Home, and then a Disney Plus production called Madu. And it was very good for us. It was validation in many ways, but also it was good to show that, you know what, this music, this art, it can earn money as well. So it's good. Yeah.
Did you play an instrument?
Interestingly, I don't. I've always written music with like in my head and gone to work with producers who then, you know.
Okay, I mean, because for the kind of music that you do, I
yes, you
either play the keyboard or the guitar and all of that. But let me just ask you, this, well, AI.
Yeah.
How are you harnessing the potentials in AI? Because it's big. I think I was in with a colleague yesterday, and we're driving in his car, and he had like a list of songs composed by AI or AI generated, and it's very difficult to differentiate which is AI and which is human.
Yeah.
So, where are we? How is AI helping you with your
the music?
With your music?
Yeah.
Nothing. Not with the music. Not with the music. I think that's the thing with art and how. Even though people say that they can't tell the difference between you know, AI songs, and I think that there will still be songs that there'll still be things that will be done only by human beings, and I think art is the last frontier. And while we will make multiple copies, because I think the part of us that wants to consume a lot is what got us to a place where we're like, oh, you know what? Because there are a lot of human artists, too many, in fact. We can't all discover them, and now we are like, oh, but no, we need more songs. Do we really? And what is the quality of these songs that are now being created, you know, as templates, really, of these things? And one thing I will say as a Nigerian artist is that one thing I want us to pay more attention to is how to protect the artists, protect the people who it's their work that's being fed to the AI to create this music, which means the AI of its own self cannot, you know. And so it's like, I am very much an advocate for artists, and I think that with AI across the world, I know that people are already having many conversations around it. I would say how it can be useful to me, like as a business person, I mean, there's many parts of, you know, planning, you know, project management, a couple of things you can use technology for, but I think in the art, it needs to still come from, you know, artists.
And so you're touring. You talked about Master of Ballads.
Yes.
I've also listened to Heaven is Home. And I'm curious about your creative process and the themes, you know, that form much of what you compose. What are your influences and what is your perfect creativity environment?
I would say influences with the album, there was a wide range. Like I mentioned with like seeing a song like Time Is Money, I would directly just link that to the high life music I grew up listening to, and even some of the more modern ones like with Flavor and a couple other artists. And I would say, but across the album, influences from artists like Adele, you know, Beyonce, Sam Smith, people who I think have been able to put a lot of emotion into the music they make. Like, and with the tour, it's me taking this album on the road. Last year I did a tour for the EP Love Lane, which spawned a couple hits for us that, you know, went viral, and it was very validating again to see that happen, where we're able to bridge creating this alternative music, but then there's a mainstream appeal to the music because, again, it's all kinds of music we're making. And the Master of Ballads tour is going to be an 11-city Pan-African tour. And we're starting with Abuja on the 5th of December. And I'm so excited. We just finished. I just came back from Abuja, actually. We were making prep. And Lagos on the 3rd of January. And following that, we're likely going to cover some of West Africa, like Cotonou and Accra, and then Nairobi for sure, and then get into South Africa as well. I think the thing about the way I think about this music and how we are going to move forward is that I'm very much looking forward to all the collaboration that will happen. We're going to all the cities, because with last year, for example, every stop I'm making, many artists are joining me, and it's a beautiful experience. So I'm looking forward to the Master of Ballads tour, and I hope I see you there as well. Yes.
Well, Kelly will be there, right?
Yes.
In Lagos, January 3rd.
January 3rd, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make sure. I need you and my sister to come.
Right.
We'll be there. We'll be there. So I'm just wondering how you intend to navigate the language barriers. For instance, if you go to areas such as Benin Republic.
So I speak French. So I've been to Cotonou.
You speak French?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, it's something that I always thank my parents for. The secondary school I went to was one where they tried to encourage a bilingual thing. So I spent like a year plus of my secondary school in between Benin Republic and Togo. Kind of used that and so of course, I'm rusty, but every time I go back, I get the chance to.
So I wonder how your Nigerian parents took the decision of you deciding to delve into music.
It took a very strategic convincing, because I understood my parents. They were never the kind to discourage me from these things. Because, for example, my father, while in university, had dabbled in DJing and just loves music a lot. But of course, now he's a consultant and does in the supply chain logistics industry. And my mother is a fine art teacher. They would always be practical. Yeah. And so even when
so they're both creatives.
Exactly. Oh. But they understood that, you know what, because I only recently started doing, I've said recently in the last 2 years, doing music full-time. I've always kept a job, either working in the pension industry as a tech person, to working in advertising, to working in media. I was editor-in-chief at Zikoko for a bit, wrote as senior editor at Tech Cabal for a bit. So I've done, and that's what encouraged me to do the work of starting a label, because I've worked in so many other, parts. And so my parents, when it came time to make each of these decisions from my first album, it was to sit them down and go, I've thought about this is how it's going to go. And they're confident in me. And so thankfully it's paid off, in that I've been able to constantly have them see that, okay, this is something I'm doing in the best way I can. So, yeah.
So you do have your own label?
Yeah. Yes, it's called St. Clair Records.
Interesting, because, divisions between artists and record labels is one of the challenges that the industry
Yes, it's one of the things I'm hoping to change, to fix, the idea.
But how much stability does that bring to your own work?
To my work? I think it brings quite a bit of stability, because it gives me a chance to not be held down by the things that people usually complain about with traditional label deals. And I want to have that be not just for me, but for everybody who's signed to my label.
Because I was going to ask that. I mean, stability for you, but how about those?
We operate.
There's always one clause somewhere that you guys get to hide.
Exactly. So I actually want to talk about why I think what we need a lot of in this industry now is well-run indie labels. Because independent labels are able to, because I am operating from a point of an artist who knows an artist's pains. And so I'm making sure that the system I'm creating is able to make sure artists don't feel boxed in. For example, with my label, there is no, say on what exactly the artist must create, but it's about making sure that whatever is brought to us, we amplify. And that's how I think we should progress. And there's no draconian, or you can't do something for a couple of years, or all these kind of things. I don't think those are necessary. I think that there are ways to do this thing ethically, and we're going to try.
Listening to you talk and even listening to your music, you get the feel that, probably another John Legend with a very exotic feel to your music. But we hope that you'll be doing something original that, gives us a feel of Enugu.
Yeah, of course. You should listen to Time Is Money. It's a highlight song that I think would put you in that you're back in the East.
Right? Okay.
Yes. So just before we go, we have to go now. We are absolutely pressed for time. For an Enugu man, Abacha or Okpa, which one does it for you?
Okpa.
Okpa. Yes. Anytime. Let us share the grace.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so
trying some Okpa very soon.
Yes, you have to. I miss it.
All right, we wish you all the best with your tour.
Thank you so much.
The Master of Ballads tour, you've called it. Dwin, the Stoic, is a Nigerian singer, songwriter, and composer. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Well, that does it for us here on the program. Thank you indeed for watching. We have to go now, but we'll leave you with some sort of his music just to ensure that your weekend starts on a very soft note. I am Kelly Egiga, and if you have to drink while driving, it absolutely has to be water.
And remember, it's less than 24 hours to the Anambra governorship election. Channels Television has got you covered. Our studios will be open, and we'll be bringing you all of the updates tomorrow. Thank you so much for being there all through the week, and have yourselves a blessed weekend. I am Bukola Koka.
For this time, I been hoping for someone like you. Hope you remember, I'm not doing this life without you, so hold on, 'cause baby, you know